Hey everyone, Trick Wallace back here with another great eShop deals video. Hey, this one we're going to be doing games that are above $5. If you are looking for those bargain basement deals, make sure after you're done watching this that you do check out my $5 and less eShop deals video. But don't click off this one. This really is where we are going to be seeing a lot of the best games at the best prices. So stick around and let's take a look at what's available this week. First of all, I have a little bit of a bonus entry. I say bonus because this game does end Friday the 14th for its sale, so you got to be quick if you want to pick it up. But this one is the Punch Win. It is at its lowest price ever and its first ever sale price, bringing it down to $10.49. This is an absolutely sublime little combination of a platformer and a puzzle game. You play as this penguin with little boxing gloves, and you are in these different puzzle grid style arenas where you have to match up three of a kind, very much like you would in any puzzle game. But again, the challenge is it is all done through a platformer where you're jumping around, getting to the blocks that you need to get to, and punching them into the direction they need to go to drop into place. It plays like an absolute dream. The platforming works great and the puzzling works great. It all comes together completely perfectly. Definitely one of my favorite little hidden gems so far this year. In fact, I talk about it more in detail in my hidden gems video, so if you want to check that out, make sure you do. Neon Abyss is hitting its new lowest price ever, 65% off for $6.99. As far as side-scrolling twin-stick shooter roguelikes, this one is my favorite. I absolutely love Neon Abyss. There is no other roguelike shooter that gets as crazy as this one, in my opinion. What is so great about this is every time you pick up a pickup, it is represented on your character and you see it. So you'll be picking up all of these different weapon upgrades, and every time you do, it's just the amount of ammo and havoc that comes out of your gun just gets goofier and crazier looking and more destructive through each run. You're also going to be collecting eggs, which hatch into little Pokemon-style creatures who can help you and assist you in different ways. Just an absolutely insanely addictive and super fun platforming shooting roguelike. All kinds of great secrets, great little puzzles to solve. It absolutely never gets old. There's always new, fresh little twists along the way that change the gameplay the more and more you play it. Starlink Battle for Atlas Digital Edition is 82% off, bringing it down to its lowest price ever, $10.79. This is basically No Man's Sky mixed with Star Fox. That's about the easiest way to describe it. It is a very underrated game. And do know that as long as you're picking up the Nintendo Switch version, you are getting Star Fox from the outset. So you're going to be able to play as Fox McCloud from the very beginning. So just forget that it's called Starlink and just play it as you understand it to be the newest Star Fox game, and you'll have a great time. It's super easy to forget that it actually is a different game about a different set of characters. You can just totally get yourself lost and just think, I'm playing Star Fox. But it controls beautifully, the worlds are beautiful, it has a completely seamless mechanic of flying off of a planet out into space, back onto the planets just like No Man's Sky. This is just a radically underrated game. I don't think we're ever going to see another Starlink, but I would love to see Ubisoft make their own official Star Fox game with this game engine because it is fantastic. Now, do know you can also pick up the deluxe edition version. That gets you a really good amount of DLC. Now, obviously, the original version of this game was a Toys to Life game, so good luck trying to find those toys now, but you can buy digital versions of them. And this deluxe edition basically gives you a lot of those weapons and a lot of other different pilots you can try out. I think for the extra money, for $20 for that deluxe edition, I think it is worth it, but you can always pick up that collection later. For instance, right now, it's on sale for $15. So even if you wait out, you're only going to have to spend about $5 more than if you went ahead and bought this deluxe edition. But if you're a Star Fox fan, at the very least, wishlist this thing because you have got to play this game at some point. Carry On is at its new lowest price ever, 60% off for only $7.99. This is a really wickedly cool game where you get to play as a monster and you are making your way through a science facility, breaking out and taking on the humans that have tried to contain you. And as this globby symbiote thing, you're going to be consistently getting bigger and gaining new abilities so that you can terrorize the humans and consume them with that much more ferocity. I'm not a big horror game fan, but honestly, when the roles are switched and you get to be the monster, it no longer really feels frightening. And if anything, it actually just kind of feels funny to me. So if you got a dark sense of humor like me, I think you would really enjoy this one. Terror of Hemosaurus is at its lowest price ever, 35% off, bringing it down to $9.74. This is for all you fans of the old Rampage arcade game. This is truly a spiritual successor to that. I talk in much more detail in my latest Hidden Gems video about Terror of Hemosaurus, but easy to say, if you loved Rampage, you're definitely going to love this. The only real difference is that they've added a bit more of a physics-based mechanic to the way the buildings come down. It's really enjoyable. It's really cool, the kind of domino effects you can create from one building crashing into another. New Super Lucky's Tale is hitting its new lowest price ever, 70% off, bringing it down to $8.99. This is possibly the best 3D platformer on the Switch outside of the Mario games. It runs beautiful, 60 frames per second, 1080p. It just runs like a dream on the Switch. Lucky really controls amazing, has this really cool mechanic where you burrow down into the ground underneath stuff, pop up. It's just a super polished, well done, classic style 3D platformer, absolutely essential for fans of the genre. Death's Door is matching its previous low price, 50% off for only $9.99. This is an absolute critical darling, sits at an 89 on Metacritic. In this game, you play as a raven, and this raven is a reaper of souls. He has been tasked to go after these different souls that are refusing to cross over into the afterlife, so it's your job to get them and bring them in. There's obviously more layers to the story than that you're going to have to discover for yourself when you play it. I can tell you, and I should warn you, that this game can get pretty darn tough with the combat, but it is also very rewarding and absolutely beautiful experience. Definitely worth 10 bucks. It's honestly worth the full asking price, so this is just a great deal no matter how you slice it. From Space is back on sale, matching its previous low, 35% for $9.74. I like mentioning this one because I think this one really flew under the radar. I think it's a real hidden gem. Basically think top-down Left 4 Dead, but mixed with taking on pink bubblegum aliens. That's about the easiest way to describe it. It's for up to 1 to 4 player online co-op. So as long as you're jumping online with people, then you are going to be able to take on these hordes of bubblegum looking aliens, all kinds of weapons, upgrades, different character classes so that they all play differently. Really great for people who like that sort of horde style genre. Alpha Link is getting its first ever sale price and its lowest ever price for $7.49. This one's a bit of a wild card. This is from a 2-person development team, but this is basically a 2D arena shooter, sort of like, think Halo or Destiny, but the 2D version. You're going to be taking on different players in arenas. You take on bots, but there is also online play, and very thankfully, this has cross-play with both the PC and the Xbox version, so you should be able to find full lobbies. Sounds like it's really fast, frenetic. I can't really find any reviews for the Switch version, but the Xbox version was very well received. I think if you're looking for a great, simple, and easy to get into arena shooter, you're probably going to enjoy this one. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is hitting its new lowest price ever. I'm surprised I finally get to say that. $23.99. That is a full 60% off. If you haven't played the Elder Scrolls Skyrim before, I don't know what to do to tell you to finally convince you, but my goodness, what an insane deal. They also have the anniversary upgrade on sale, which is 40% off for $11.99. That is its lowest price ever, normally 20 bucks. That adds in new quests, dungeons, bosses, weapons, spells, all kinds of fun new things that are added in for that anniversary version. But of course, you can buy the anniversary edition of the game, which has them both included, and that is also at its lowest price ever, 60% off, bringing it down to $27.99. I will say that if you've never played Skyrim, you probably don't need the anniversary edition because, I mean, there's already a ton to do in the base game, and you could probably hold off and wait to pick up that DLC at a later date. But if you know you enjoy it and you're just finally picking it up on the Switch, well, then you probably might want to pick up that Anniversary Edition. Okay, so basically every Doom game is on sale right now, and I could recommend them separately, and I guess if you've already bought some separately, you might want to go into the eShop and check them out. But the real one to pick up is the Doom Slayers Collection. It is matching its previous low, 75% off for only $12.49. This gets you original Doom, Doom 2, Doom 64, Doom 3, and of course the Doom reboot. Absolutely insane value for the money. That is so much game. Even just picking up the Doom reboot, which is on sale right now, that would be $10 by itself. You might as well spend the extra $2.50 and get all the rest of the great Doom games. And if you're not satisfied stopping there, Doom Eternal is at its new lowest price ever, 67% off, bringing it down to only $13.19. I don't know what the magicians are doing that work on the Doom games, but somehow these games still run really admirably on the Switch. Of course, there's a little bit of a blur. It's definitely a lower resolution, but it's really solid. The experience actually works. So basically right now you can get the entire Doom Experience collection for about 25 bucks if you pick up that Slayers Collection and Doom Eternal. What an amazing deal. I just can't believe how much game you can get for so little money. Moving on, we have Sifu. Sifu is hitting its lowest price ever, but it's actually its first ever sale price, 25% off, bringing it down to $29.99. This is an awesome beat 'em up game, but the cool twist with this is that you play as this sort of karate kung fu master, and every time you are defeated, when you come back, you are now older. Now, aging up will definitely allow you to sort of respec your guy with new skills and whatnot, but you also have to deal with your aging body. Really unique concept. It's absolutely critically acclaimed, and the Switch version was very well received. Not going to look as good as the higher end versions, but it surprisingly runs really well. Sits at an 81 on Metacritic. So if you like the idea of having this portably, I think you would be very satisfied with the visual presentation of this version of Sifu. Inscription is getting its first ever, so of course its lowest ever price, 25% off for $14.99. This is basically a deck building game where you are competing against this shadowy figure in a game of life and death, I guess. It's basically one of those games where it's going to get really twisty and it's going to get really weird, and it goes in places that you would never guess from the trailers or the screenshots. I've kind of gotten hints of how crazy it gets. I don't want to spoil anything, and I don't want to spoil anything for myself, so I sort of stopped looking into it more. Even at this only 25% off, I'm finally going to pull the trigger. I'm going to pick it up. I just got to see what all the fuss is about with Inscription. An 87 on Metacritic. Everyone tells me that the direction it goes with the twists and turns is just insane, mind-bending, crazy fun. It definitely also sounds like it's a pretty darn creepy game, so you got to know that also going in. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga Deluxe Edition is at its lowest price ever, $27.99. An amazing price for what is probably the best Lego Star Wars game ever. I'm going to get through this one quick because anytime I play footage of it, I get copyright claims. So you're probably only seeing images right now of the game. So let's go ahead and move on from this one. Maneater, one of my biggest video game guilty pleasures, is back on sale, 50% off for only $19.99. This game was described by the developers as a shark PG. Yeah, you got that right, a shark PG. You basically get to play as a Jaws-style bull shark. You are going to be eating and munching up creatures and working your way up the evolutionary ladder. And along the way, you can upgrade your shark with all kinds of crazy new evolutionary traits and ways, like you can get armor on your shark, or just give it the insane ability to go super fast or really high out of the water, or even stay out of the water for a really long time. I've just seen ridiculous footage where people are basically just flopping around full on into the city that the island surrounds, just munching up people nonstop. It's really stupid, it's really crazy, but it's the exact sort of like AA game, not a AAA game, but a AA game that I feel like developers used to make all the time. We don't get these sort of single player goofy adventures anymore. So I really, really would like to see Tripwire Interactive get a lot more support for this game. Really stupid, crazy fun. My son's favorite party game of all time, Gang Beasts, is back on sale at its new lowest price ever for the Switch version, $14.99. This is basically a physics-based wrestling combat game. You're going to choose your character, and you are going to be thrown into all kinds of different arenas, all kinds of crazy stuff. You could be on top of moving trucks, you could be on a billboard, you could be in a lighthouse. It's just really goofy, crazy. It's all about just grabbing your opponents and trying to throw them off the edge with a series of punches and flopping and kicks. Real goofy. I know I've said goofy multiple times, but I don't really know how else to describe Gang Beasts. It's just a lot of fun. You're going to laugh a lot, and thankfully it does have online play, so you should be able to usually find people to play with. This one is pretty popular. I have had no problem ever finding a full lobby of this one. Portal the Companion Collection is again back on sale, 40% off for an only $11.99. I mentioned this in the last time it went down to this price, but when a game sits at 96 on Metacritic and it's quite possibly one of the best reviewed games of all time, you got to mention it pretty much every time it goes on sale. If you've never experienced the Portal games, this is the way to go. You're getting Portal 1 and Portal 2, and my goodness, if I could erase my memory and replay these games all over again, I would be absolutely delighted with that prospect. If you've never had the game spoiled for you, keep it that way and try to go in as blind as you can on this one. No Man's Sky is now $40.19. That is 33% off. That is the cheapest the digital version has ever been. Of course, No Man's Sky is the gigantic procedurally generated open world, open space game of exploration. You're going to be hopping from planet to planet. You're going to be collecting resources, building bases, getting new ships. At this point, I think most people know what No Man's Sky is. It's a big experience. And the real good news here is that, again, this is a surprisingly solid port to the Switch. Obviously, it's not going to be super high resolution, but it is the full game, and it runs pretty darn great on the Switch. Klonoa Fantasy Reverie Series is 50% off, bringing it down to $19.99. That is an all-new low price. This is a cult classic platformer. I know there are a ton of fans of this who just swear by it. I've never played a Klonoa game, so I can't speak from experience, but I like what I see. It's bright, it's colorful, has some unique sort of platforming puzzle mechanics style movement from what I understand. Basically, you grab characters and you have to use the character to activate a double jump, or again, toss a character into another character. I'm pretty excited about this price, but if I'm being honest, I think I'm holding out for 10 bucks. I think that's where I'm going to pick it up. But if you've got a nostalgia for this series, I would imagine this price would definitely excite you a lot. Diablo Prime The Evil Collection, which is 67% off, matching its previous low, only $19.79. I feel like I need to talk about this game every time it goes on sale, more as a PSA than anything, because Diablo 3 always goes on sale at the same time, and Diablo 3 goes on sale for about 30 bucks, which is 50% off for that game. But the Diablo Prime Evil Collection includes Diablo 3 The Eternal Collection and Diablo 2 Resurrected for less than the price of just Diablo 3. It's crazy. I still don't understand why they do the pricing that way. I wish that they wouldn't, because I think that can get confusing, and I'd be pretty frustrated if I picked up Diablo 3 and then realized I could save money and get another game. But hey, that's what I'm here to inform you guys about. I want you guys to be informed consumers, so make sure that you know about this. And finally, we have Infernax, which is 25% off, bringing it down to $14.99, matching its previous low. This is maybe one of the biggest hidden gems from 2022. I totally sat on this, and I did not play it until just a few months ago, and I was completely floored by how great it is. I love Metroidvania games, but it's funny, I'm not super into Metroid and I'm not super into Castlevania. So a lot of times I avoid the games that look super like those games. And this is very much inspired by Castlevania, as I'm sure you can see. But it just plays sublimely. It controls amazing. It has an insanely funny sense of humor. It has over-the-top, ridiculous, gory pixel cutscenes. It has a massive Metroidvania-style world to explore, all kinds of secrets. I just can't believe how much this one hooked me in. Definitely, again, one of the biggest hidden gems from 2022. I can't wait to actually jump back in and play a lot more. I think I spent about 5 or 6 hours. I had to leave it for some other stuff, but I am definitely jumping back into this game. Absolutely love this one. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this deal video. If you feel like you got value out of it, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you subscribe, I would be super appreciative. Make sure to check out the less than $5 deal video. And until next time, I hope you have great gaming. Bye-bye.